This quick video will be on Typedef. So what we've done earlier is we've defined structures, and what we typically do is we would define a structure something like this here, a structure definition, and then we will say if we want one of these, we would use struct person and then the name of that variable. So this is the type, this is the name of the variable. So if we wanted to, you can use something called Typedef to create aliases, to give different names to some of your types. So the way that works is if you have, forget about structs for a minute, just think about normal variables. If you have the type integer and you want a variable of that type, you can just say int I. However, if you're very lazy, you don't like the word int, let's say you want to make it shorter or something, then you can tell C typedef. Typedef is a keyword in C that says I'm going to give you a new name for the same type, so I'm going to make an extra name for the same type. Typedef int I underscore whatever you want to call it. When you do this, this name here, this type name here, is exactly the same as int. So now I can make variables of type im. By the way, that's a horrible name. Let's just fix it. T underscore I. So that's type integer, say. So T underscore I is a type, and I want to make an integer, so I make an integer j of this type. So all that happens in the background is C sees you've used T underscore I. What does it mean? It means int. So you're making an integer called j. Now we can abuse this, or we can use this to simplify the struct declarations as well. If you use typedef struct, from this example here, we called it struct person was our type. So you can say typedef struct person and just call it TP. That says whenever I say T underscore P, what I mean is struct person. So instead of having to declare all your variables with this, you can just use TP. You can then do this. You can say T underscore P person 1, T underscore P person 2, and you can also make pointers, of course. T pointer, T underscore P pointer, PTRP. So the effect of this will be exactly the same as what we've done here. Same, TP person 1. Sorry, here we go. This declaration where we've declared variables of that struct type. I've just made a new type and I've declared it like this. It does exactly the same thing. So that's how typedef works. There's one additional aspect, and that's where you mix the struct definition with typedef. So you can take it one step further. On the slide, for example, we have a structure coord with these two members, x and y, and then I've said typedef replace struct coord with, not replace, also use point to describe struct coord, so they do the same thing. And then what you also need to fix is let me just kill that. What you also need to do is you then declare your variables PA and BB, which is of that type point, and the computer interprets point to mean struct coord. So a structure, we replace that name with this name, not replace, sorry, we add another name, point, which means exactly the same as struct coord, and then point PA and PB, they're two variables of the structured type. The second way to do this, and this is a shorthand approach, a bit confusing, but you can do this, is you combine the typedef and the struct declaration. What you say is typedef this struct, so instead of giving your struct a name coord, we just say type definition, this is the structure that I want to replace with point. So we don't need to use the coord name in between. We just say replace struct this struct with a definition point. So whenever I say point, I mean that structure there. So it's just a shorthand approach of doing exactly the same thing.